marriage ubamba mafala.
That was Rono.
That was Rono.
I think one of the things that happens with the microphone nowadays is everyone.
No, you're not about to do this. No.
Everyone can give their opinion, and I think everyone else who's out there is open to handle it the way they want to handle it. At some point, I never believed in marriage, so I understand her talking about marriage that way. Then I ended up being married, and I feel like I was lucky because my marriage has no drama.
We didn't even know you're married.
Yes, that's
what I'm telling you. Silent and well.
Yeah. Alafu yango inaga drama. Like sometimes I look at, kuna time ulizaga wife, because we've been married for now 11 years.
11?
Sometimes I look at her and I'm like, is there another side I'm supposed to see? I enjoy podcasting. And to me, it's a better job. It's more
than
fun.
Anything else.
Radio is dying. Like radio has, like if you look at the first world, radio is dying. Like podcaster, like right now, first world, you'll have radio plus podcast. It's not just radio peke yake, because that's how you make radio survive. So sina shida. I'm actually
you're at peace.
Yeah, I always joke that. Do you know that at some point when I was a kid, I thought that jail was a rite of passage, because my dad went to jail, his brother went to jail, his small brother went to jail, his cousin went to jail. Some of the stories are funny.
So like you kept on waiting. When is my day going to come?
Yeah, I used to be afraid. But some of the stories are funny. Like one of my uncles, I even did a podcast with him on Ikonini, and he was talking about how he tried to steal. He went to cash a check that wasn't his. And then he was arrested. And the funny part is where he says Orengo. Orengo was just a lawyer that was starting up. And Orengo was like, hapa, maji imezidi unga.
Imperial Gardens Kikuyu by Username Properties. Just 15 minutes from Kikuyu town, get your 8th acre plot for just 1.249 million shillings. SMS plot to 20321 or call 0725 000 222.
My beautiful people, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever you are, a good time. And of course, welcome on Kenya's fastest growing podcast. This is Lessons at 30 with Dr. Ofweneke. My name is the Eagle himself, the Duke of Kakamega. Dr. Ofweneke is my name, of course. Asanteni sana. The numbers are growing, the class is growing, the subscribers are becoming many. Of course, the following is becoming crazy. And of course, this is becoming a fully fledged university whereby the only thing that you require are your bundles of Wi-Fi and a pen and a paper and a brain that is mature enough to intake every single lesson that is coming from each and every of our guest lecturers live on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have realized that we have already hit past 1 year since Lessons at 30 officially began, and my goodness, I can only say asanteni sana to our guests that have been on the show, our guest lecturers, to you, our new subscribers, to the many blogs, sites, and TikTok trending profiles that have been taking excerpts of the show and taking them around for guys to get to know the lessons. And of course, even to God himself, this has been nothing less than amazing. And of course, we just want to appreciate, of course, for the prophetic obedience of actually coming up with this show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a show like any other. Like I normally tell you, if you're watching Lessons at 30 to try and get tea, then trust me, you're going to have that bread on a dry throat, because this is not a place for tea. This is a place for lessons. And I want to appreciate our partners, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching from Europe, you're watching from the US, US, you're watching from the UK, whichever place, you're watching from different parts of the world, and you need to send money back at home, or you need to actually send money prior as you prepare to start coming back home as summer bunnies, then there's only one way, and there's only one trustable platform that you can send money through, and that can only be Lemfi. Please, and Lemfi is the only place, the only method, or the only way you can send money back at home. And they're actually cashbacks, and of course you can actually send money direct to a till number, and you can actually deal directly from the Lemfi to a service provider or a product shop, or just back at home, meaning this is very trustworthy. So please download Lemfi right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the guest that I have today is a man that I've gone to respect, a man who is a voice in the industry, and a man who probably literally started this type of a podcast during the times of COVID. And man, he has been raking in numbers, and of course he has been impacting lives, and of course I have had the privilege of actually being a guest on the show as well. We're going to be having the one and ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be having the host of Ikonini podcast. But before we get there, wisdom says you must at least own a piece of land. Forget about all other land property companies. Forget about all the other companies that are selling land. The process is too long. Some of them are a little bit cunning. Some of them are a little bit foxy. They cannot be trustable. And you can only trust one land company when it comes to selling land. And that can only be Username Properties. And that's what we say, a tradition of trust. Now we're selling piece of land in Kikuyu at 1.25 million Kenyan shillings with a payment plan, title deed immediately, ladies and gentlemen, and it's such an ample place just close to the road. The numbers on the screen, and there's a squeeze bar for more details. Call us now. We are waiting to serve you. Ladies and gentlemen, the first time I saw him, ladies and gentlemen, when I was a very young guy, very young, but literally a boy, not even a man. I was a boy, my goodness. And this guy was one of the baddest when it comes to hip hop. Then from there, he used to him and the king of underground comedy, Rapture the Scientist, started a podcast. Well, it was a comedy sit-up on K24 back in the days. And he has grown to who we know him, ladies and gentlemen, to now. So Gen Zs, you know him on Ikonini, but us as millennials, we know him from back when we were young. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's appreciate, get your pens and paper. Let's get down into lesson. Regrets, things you'll have done better. How does he view the industry? The political scope, comedy, hip-hop, him growing. How did he get into the industry, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only Mwafreeka.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
That intro, man.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
For such a heavy person like you, sir.
Yeah, man, the intro is heavy because you know my intro is normally very simple. It's just Ekanene.
Karibu the show.
Yeah, we just get into
this is the lesson of 30, sir.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Thank you, man.
And I must say, asante sana for honoring me to be one of your guests on the show sometimes back. We shared some very deep insights about a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
And I really want to say I'm grateful. It's not something that I take for granted.
Yeah, I also don't take this for granted. And thank you for the invite. Yeah, looking forward to the conversation. Yeah.
Asante sana. Mwafreeka.
Yeah.
Why not America? Why not Asia?
This was a name that came up in campus, yes? At University of Nairobi. When I was around like 20 years old, I was obsessed with hip-hop.
All right.
So hip-hop is known for Black Americans. So there's a friend of mine who used to call me Mwafreeka Mweusi. So I just dropped the Mweusi because he's what Mweusi.
Did it make sense?
And yeah, I stuck with Mwafreeka, and that's just how it stayed. Because remember, like nowadays when you look at hip-hop, it's loved by everyone. Yeah. But at some point, hip-hop ilikuwa ya mababi. You know, it was a class thing. Like if you came from Eastlands, you're not supposed to be listening to hip hop. So that's how the name came up. Like mtu anapendaje hip hop na natoka place afai kutoka. So the name Mwafreeka, it was Mwafreeka Mweusi, dropped Mweusi, stuck with Mwafreeka. Yeah.
Who had the biggest influence on you at that time, either locally or internationally?
Oh, damn. I think that's hard to know because I grew up around reggae music. So like I always say, the goat of music according to me is Bob Marley, because I look at the way Bob Marley, the way he used to write, like sometimes when you think about that this guy died 44 years ago, does not make sense. Because when you're listening to him, it's like you're listening to someone who's still alive. So, but then I always say it's Adole took me to hip hop, you know, because now the F word, yes. No, the F word, girls saying nasty stuff. So now I started like, I'm interested now because when you're an adolescent, you're trying to listen to as much nasty stuff as you can listen to. So during that time, I'd say maybe Tupac, Biggie, but would I say there were big influences? I just loved the raunchy stuff. So there was this one girl called Lil Kim who was very raunchy, and Foxy Brown. So I used to love that because you're young. And then now with time, I started listening to more deeper hip hop. So with that, I'd say someone called Guru of a group called Gangsta. That I'd say that's the guy that now I loved kabisa because he talk about life, talk about the struggles he's going through, whether financial or so maybe him. But I wouldn't say like a specific person. If it was generally, I'd say Bob Marley. Yeah.
And I don't agree with you in that. Now, let me ask. Because there was the type of music that you would listen to, and the content that you were taking in every single time as a teenager.
Yeah.
So whatever you were hearing in the song, was it the situation when you opened the door?
Yeah, I'd say that's the one thing that the greatest misconception about hip hop, especially hip hop from the 90s, was the fact that I think for us, we used to look at America and just see these rich kids. We'd see them in their big pants and what. But when you listen to the music was normally about struggles and poverty. Like I always say, there's a song by a Wu-Tang member. I don't know if you knew that group, Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang, yes.
So there was this guy.
See the sign in my
head.
Yes,
this guy called Ghostface Killer, and he had a song called "All That I Got Is You," and he'd paint this situation of living in poverty, where he'd be sent to go and borrow salt, borrow sugar. See, now you're in Kenya, you're wondering, like, that happens in America? He talk about, like, them sleeping like 4 kids on the bed, and 2 kids would be facing this side, other 2 kids would be facing this side. That's a very African thing.
Exactly. Very relatable.
Yeah, so this is what, this is what pulled me into the music, because I was like, these guys are going through whatever we go through here. But unlike us, who hide that side, them they can just express it. And that's what I'd say pulled me into the music, and I ended up like loving it too much. At that time, as I was saying, like people just used to expect you to love reggae music. And I always say that reggae music is a we music. We. Hip-hop is an I music.
I'm talking about me, what I'm going through.
Yes, so sometimes when you just want to talk about yourself and what you're going through, you listen to this one person and they're just talking about their lives. So I'd say that's what attracted me to the music, was just people talking about their struggles. And because, your time, I'd say, I always joke on Ikonene that thug rock, like you're going through suffering. When you're going through suffering, the music becomes really important to get you out of that space.
Because it relates, you relate to
the music, yes.
At this time when I still up, where you growing up at this time?
Okay. So I grew up in, I'd say, how many neighborhoods? So at this time we're living in high rise, Majengo. There's a high rise here, Majengo, karibu na California.
Yes.
Opposite California. Yeah, so we were living like a family of, was it 6 in one room?
Oof.
Yeah. 6 in one room. It's one of those things I always joke that when you get older is when you're like, damn, when did our parents ever try to make other kids, Because you can't understand how...
we were here the whole time.
Yeah, how that used to work. So yeah, because I had 4 brothers and 1 sister, and then my parents, 3 brothers, 1 sister, then my parents. So, yeah, we were living in this one room. I don't know how it used to work. Like if you had to ask me how the setup was and how we used to fit in this one room and even how we used to breathe, like later when you're whatever, you're like, how did this used to happen? But I don't know. I actually don't know how that used to happen. So of course, at some point, my 2 of my brothers would go to boarding school and we'd be left as 5 people, but still in one room. At some point, of course, I also went to boarding school, so they'd be, but still, it's very hard to understand how we used to survive in that small space. Yeah. So that was Majengo, yes? Then at some point, I've given this story on the podcast. At some point, my dad ended up in jail. So he was jailed at Sotik prison. Sotik?
Whoa, I didn't even know there's a prison in Sotik.
Yeah, there's a prison in Sotik. So my mom used to send me to go and see him. This time I'm 12. Like nowadays I look at kids and I'm like, kids grow up really slowly. Because back in the days, I'd just go. I'll be sent like, I'm a 12-year-old. I'm sent from Nairobi to Sotik and I'd just go alone and come back.
To visit your dad in prison?
Yes. I'd go to visit him.
Why you? I mean, you had elder brothers, and why not even mom herself?
Because you'll find like my brothers at that point are in boarding school. Me, bado niko primo. So since I'm in primary school, they can be like, for today, you're not going to school, just go see your dad. tell him everything is okay. Remember, there are no mobile phones at this point. Just go tell him everything is okay and come back. And I'd just go, leave Nairobi, maybe be in town by 5 a.m. alone at 12. By the time it's around 10, 11, niko Sotik, see my dad, 2 p.m., take a bus, come back. Hizo siku vitu zilikuwa slow. So kitoka Sotik 2 p.m, maybe mtafika around 8 p.m. back.
All this alone, 12 years.
Yeah, 12.
So always mother angeenda solo. I mean, this is her husband.
Lazima hustle. You see now, that's the time where she's the breadwinner. She's the everything. So she has to, every hour counts. This is one of the things where I normally say, like when I look at the masculinity channels and I hear the way they like talk on Ikonini, I'd say they talk about women. I'm always like, kwenda huko. Because I saw this one woman just keep a family together while her husband was in jail, you see. So I think through that, you end up getting this other level respect of women that maybe someone who didn't go through that can never see. So so there was that. So now when my dad was in jail, since my mom could not do everything, we ended up moving out and we moved to Kariako. So in Kariako, we lived with my uncle, who was my father's brother, and their families. And it was really messed up because now, as I keep saying, like in hindsight, you understand these things, that this is a family and you as a whole family have just come and invaded their space. So it was not the smoothest sort of living together.
I can imagine the probably a little bit of animosity here.
Yes. So there was the small animosity, which as a kid you can't understand. But later in life, you're like, I don't want anyone in my space. I want to be as free as possible in my space.
True.
So that happened. And then from Hapo, now when our dad, by this time our dad had passed away. I think upon a place may skip. So in 96...
so how long was he in prison, first of all?
He was in prison, I think, for like 2 years, yes. So 94, he leaves prison. Then by 96, he was dead. Because my dad also struggled with alcoholism. So...
But even before we get there, because in my mind, I'm just trying to imagine this. To me, you know my dad. And to me, my father is my hero.
Yeah.
This is the guy. For me, this is the OG. But every single time you're going, at a young age, you're going to see your OG behind a grill or probably something.
And being disrespected.
How does it make you feel as a boy at that time?
Being disrespected. You see, now, one thing people don't know is prisoners are not respected. So I remember like I'd go there and the first thing would be like, con man, mtoto wako amekuja kukuona. Then you see my dad shows up there with the kakunguru ameisha. He's very
frail.
He's very frail and what. So it really messes up with you. As a kid, you find yourself crying, doing those things. But it's life lessons. So you start, and I always joke that, do you know that at some point when I was a kid, I thought that jail was a rite of passage? Because my dad went to jail. His brother went to jail. His small brother went to jail. His cousin went to jail. Some of the stories are funny.
So you kept on waiting. When is my day going to come?
I used to be afraid. But some of the stories are funny. Like one of my uncles, I even did a podcast with him on Ikonini, and he was talking about how he tried to steal. He went to cash a check that wasn't his. And then he was arrested. And the funny part is where he says Orengo. Orengo was just a lawyer that was starting up. And Orengo was like, hapa, maji imezidi unga. You'll just have to do the time. So at some point I thought this is a rite of passage.
So you had your father in jail. You had your cousin in jail.
Yeah, like my uncles. Like
your
my
uncle.
That generation, like a lot of them went to jail. So we used to think that this is just a rite of passage. It's something that you have to go through. So it's one of those scary things that even till now, bado mwaga nayo, like I still have like, what if the sins of the father visit the children, you see? So hopefully not. None of my brothers have ever gone to jail. I think this other generation has broken that curse. Yeah.
So now you have seen Dad, you've bid him farewell. Now you're on your way back from Sotik back to Nairobi. It's a long journey. You at the window and you're seeing trees getting back.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are going through your mind. What are these things you're promising yourself as a young man that...
Hopefully, like you tell yourself that hopefully when I go through this, I'll be strong enough. Because remember what I'm telling you, like I thought it's a rite of passage. Because as a kid, you just soak in stuff. So since you've been like 6, all you've had is your uncle blah, blah, blah is in jail. Yeah. Then when you're 12, your dad is actually in jail. And you hear that this is not the first time your father is in jail. My dad also came from the same neighborhood as this guy. What's his name? Ochuka. So we come from the same areas, Ochuka. So when Moi was like overthrown for a few hours, all the males from my father's area were, like a lot of them were arrested. So my dad spent some time in jail for that. You see, so at some point I thought this is just the rite of passage. Like you have to go through this, like jailer at some point. And as you grow up, you're like, damn, I don't want to go there, because I don't think of course they say everyone has the mental capacity to survive anything, but it's one of those things that hopefully I never get to experience here.
So now after he leaves jail.
Yeah, so after he leaves jail, now he comes and he really struggles with alcoholism. So for these 2 years, he was just drinking. And you see, like the way you used to look at your dad and you'd see a hero. I used to look at my dad and I'll just be honest, I'd see in quotes a loser, because you see, I'm a kid. So as a kid, I don't understand like what are the demons that this man is battling. I just see my mom wake up every day, go and hustle. And everything that we are eating is coming from my mother, you see. So I'm looking at this. Then eventually when you're older is when you're told, first of all, he went to jail because his cousin took him there. His cousin set him up. So they got this tender where they were supposed to supply to Posho Mills. And then the cousin took the money, never, then refused to get those things supplied. And he was the sales guy. He was the guy on the ground. So since they've received the money and they've not delivered, it was like, catch, like this is the guy to arrest. So it's the reason why he was arrested. So you look at that, then you look at, you're told all the stories of how when he was younger, he tried this and it failed, tried this and it failed. And you see a man who gave his best.
Constantly trying every single day.
But at some point, like we all have our demons. So his demon was alcohol. And when he went into it, he just could not survive. So this is 94 to 96, just drinking full time. Then at some point, he'd stop drinking and grab the Bible, become a Christian for a few days. But that demon of alcoholism was too strong. So eventually it led to his, like, I think even when we were younger, like around 1989, he'd been hospitalized because his liver was failing, but he survived that. And then now by 96, he couldn't survive. Like his liver was gone. Yes. So yeah, he ended up dying. And but now with that, for me, it also made me look at my family. And I noticed, one of the things that I noticed is every person used to struggle with alcoholism on my dad's side. On my mother's side, no one used to drink. That was the interesting thing. No, except one of my mom's brothers. He was called Maurice. Used to drink, drank himself to death. On my father's side, all his two brothers were drinking. Yes. He was also drinking. His cousins were drinking. And you could just see the way alcohol just sucked the life out of them. So with that, I made a promise to myself now. That's something I'll never touch because I don't know where it's going to take me. You see, like the way I have friends who drink for fun. Like they'll just have a drink today and they can have the next drink in 3 years. The way I've seen my family, if you take that drink today, tomorrow you'll need it. And before you know it, you see. So I don't want to test myself with alcohol.
So you have never even tested alcohol?
Yeah, I've never tested alcohol. And that's the reason. I think it's called genetic predisposition, yes? I also talked about this with that lady, Anne Matthew. You know her? Yes.
I've heard of her.
Yes, you need to sit down with her. She talks about alcohol and the way, if it's in your bloodline, it's in your bloodline. Like you can just look at the way your dad takes alcohol. That's enough to tell you if you can handle it or you can't handle it. So with that, I just knew this is not something I can handle.
My dad quit drinking the exact day that I was born.
Okay, that's
and it's
good,
because
man.
he got so drunk that he forgot that the wife has given birth. So yeye ametoka Amazon Motors, alikuwa na job, alikuwa msa sales. Ameingia pale Mathare, mizaliwa Mathare area 4.
Yeah.
So anaingia kijana anasikia mtu yeye analia. Nashanga what the hell.
Yeah.
Atenoliza. And that was the last time he ever touched alcohol. So his prayer was that none of his children will ever touch alcohol. And then I remember the day I was moving out to start my own life. He told me, son, 3 things that I need you to know.
Yeah.
1, we are very fertile. So be very careful. Number 2, we have a very dangerous tongue for women. Be careful. Number 3, in our bloodline, we can drink and drink and never get high. Be careful.
Okay.
Until then, I learned it the hard way. I've been 3 years sober and I cannot even think about alcohol ever again.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I saw what it could do. Right. And I've been having constant conversation with my kid brother and I'm telling him this thing is in our blood.
Yeah.
Be careful. So you have really, oh my goodness. Do you think that this generation has probably idolized alcohol intake or something?
The funny thing is, they say, I think I saw a study that said millennials loved alcohol or even still love alcohol more than Gen Zs. I think I saw a study like, I don't know if it's the same thing in Kenya, but apparently, because Gen Zs are growing up in a more, where they have more information, they're not bigger drunkards like us. Because I feel like millennials and Gen X's, baby boomers going down, alcohol was also a class thing. So, and also the only way to enjoy music was you had to go to a club. But now you'll find like with Gen Zs, they have these house parties. So there are ways you can maybe order in the house. You don't have to. So I don't know. But I think with our generation and the born 80s, born 90s, there was that obsession with alcohol. And the fact that the status, all that nonsense of grabbing a bottle and smacking it, all that. I'll call it nonsense because it's, you make this thing look like it's the best thing in the world, while for some people it can be the one thing that just makes them lose everything, you see. So, but of course, we all have our demons that we battle.
So let's take it a little bit back from 12 years pulling back. What type of a child was Mwafreeka? Maybe from the stories you hear, from what you can remember. Because you've always come out very, very stern and very firm, even in your opinions and everything. Was this Mwafreeka even from right?
I think maybe the reason why I'm very firm and very I didn't. Also, as a kid, one of the things that I always wonder is I never had had this conversation with my dad and even my mom. Okay, my mom is still around, where I would have asked them like, why didn't you beat us as kids? So since we were never beaten as kids, we were always able to ask questions. So with that, you are able to stick to your guns, be like, this is what I believe. So I think that played a role in me being able to just tell people like, this is my opinion. Like I always go through the comments on my podcast and people are losing their minds. Because sometimes I'll say something that people don't agree with. And you have like 98 people disagreeing with me and I'll just stick to what I've said. So I think that played a role. But what sort of child was I? I was good till my dad was jailed. When my dad was jailed and my mom made me go visit him, I think I visited him twice. Then I became what can be classified as a problem child. So I started missing classes. So like I used to go to Olympic Estate in Kibra. When it was still Kibera. Yes. I was, what is it called? I was expelled. Oof. Yes, so I was expelled from that. I think it's class 7. I ended up going to some school. I always joke about. It's called Kuchi Gujarati CGHU. It's Kappa
stage.
Yes, Kappa stage
around Khalsa.
Yeah, around Khalsa. But now the interesting thing is one of my teachers at Olympic Estate knew how good I was. Like that, I was academically I was good. So one day he just went and because my mom used to have this, she used to have a stall in Gikomba where she'd sell these stones that pregnant women eat. Those ones. Izo plus Vijiko, the airport. Kitambo, like these utensils from planes used to be sold. I always tell people that if you go to our orchard, you'll eat with a spoon from Lufthansa, another spoon from Swiss Air. So I don't know what used to happen those days, but this was before terrorism. So spoons zilikuwa spoon. Just squeeze a spoon is a tumika weapon.
Yes.
So so my mom used to have this stall. So one of the teachers at Olympic Estate moved away from that school and went to another school called St. Patrick's Hill School in Kiserian. And around that time, I think they were just starting up the school, so the classes were not full. Plus, they wanted to push the grades up. So this teacher went and looked for my mom and told my mom, I know your kid, can he come to boarding school? So that's why in class 8, I ended up at, it's called St. Patrick's Hill School in Kiserian. And this was a very interesting experience because now this is a private school.
You have never been to a private school before?
Yes. And a private school. So remember, I'm used to living as one person. 6 people in one room.
In one room.
Breakfast, sometimes it's strungi and cold ugali. Now you've gone to a school where breakfast, it's pancakes, sausage, it's whatever. Like it's the Barbie life. Now you're seeing how the other side lives.
This is the life, my guy.
Yeah. So, so that's where I did my class 8. And it was a smooth, but here, these problems of like the way I started hepaing chuo like at 12, yes? So one thing I've not told you is, do you know there's a day, I used to tell you, like I used to just travel alone. There's a day like when I was at 12, I was supposed to go to school. So my mom thinks I'm in school. Kumbe I'm in a bus going to Migori. I ended up going to Migori at 12. Auntie yangu alikuwa naishi huko. Sasa sikuwa nataka chuo. I didn't want to go to school.
So mother anajua umetoka umeenda chuo.
Yeah. So now my mom, remember that time there are no mobile phones. So they can't find out like, where is this kid? So
is it school? Let's believe it's a school.
Yes. Alafu, for my aunt in Migori, she has to get someone else who's coming to Nairobi with a letter and tell that someone like, you know what, your kid is in Migori. So there was that. That's the last time Leona Migori. I think I was still young. Right now I hear of the Obados and I'm like, hey, Migori has changed. But yes, so there's this time where at 12 I end up escaping. And then at some point, my aunt in Migori is like, you know what, you need to go back to Nairobi, go back to school. So what happens? I escape again, but this time I go Ocha. So I end up going to Ocha. It's in Nyakach, on my father's side. So my father's side, I stayed there for some time. And then I was convinced to go to my mother's side now, because it's still in Nyakach, but it's like a 1 hour walking distance. So I ended up going there, and my uncles celebrated, man. I was really whooped to go back to school.
At this point, you're supposed to be in which class?
Class 6 still. So I didn't do my class 6 like any other kid does. But the fact that I used to pass, I was just able to go to class 7 and then class 8. But I didn't, if I was not passing, I should have repeated class 6 specifically. Because I think even class 7, I started out maybe at class 7, term 2, just went to class 7. And
quite
then
a handful.
Nikaenda class 8. And yeah. So that was that.
High school?
High school, went to Starehe. Very interesting school. Because with Starehe, another thing that people don't know is Starehe does not have corporal punishment. And I think one of the reasons I also hated Olympic Estate was that. Like, people look at Olympic Estate and they see this school that kids pass in. But people don't see like, we used to be beaten up. Like,
but Olympic, it was always known because we grew up around Fort Jesus.
Yeah.
And we had some of our neighbors who were at Olympic.
Yeah.
And you know, Olympic was an approved school. I don't know if it has changed these days.
Yeah. People used to
Olympic was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. So we used to really be beaten up. So I think that's one of the reasons I hated school. So when I went to Starehe, here you're not beaten up. You're treated to a certain level like an adult. And they make you make your own decisions. So did well from 1, from 2, from 3. The demons of Kuhepa Shule came back.
Came back again.
Yes, so I started missing classes. But remember here, if you miss class, no one can beat you. And then another thing that happened with Griffin is I think to a certain level, he understood teenage boys. So his approach was, I was taken for therapy, all that.
You went for therapy?
Yes, God. I was taken for therapy. Unalala kwa couch, uko pale, uko like, so why do you escape school? So the only thing I noticed about
Not even before noticing, did it help?
That's what I wanted to tell you. One thing I noticed is, I don't know how therapy works in America, but I felt like the therapist would ask me leading questions. So he'd be like, why are you skipping classes? Is it because of a woman? At that time, I'm a 16-17-year-old virgin. I'm like, yes. You understand? Why are you asking me leading questions? So
Well, I have never done therapy,
yeah,
so
so that's what I went through. So went for therapy. Like I used to go, I think it was every Thursdays due at 3. I went for a few therapy classes. I don't know if they helped because at some point I stopped and I just did my Form 4 and I finished school. But in hindsight, I'm always like, because I remember when eventually he wrote his report that this guy skips classes because he goes to see a woman in Majengo. There was a lady at the school. I don't know what her name was, but I think she's the
that's
one.
a weird report.
She's the one who ended up being the head of Sarai Girls. I remember she read the report and she was like, this is nonsense. This guy does not escape because I just used to skip classes because I just hated school. Like at some point, I think those things they talk about trauma, where they're like, you have this unsolved trauma from a 12-year-old that's still haunting you at 17. So I had that. And so went through the whole therapy thing. And it was good. It was like in hindsight, I'm there like, that was a good thing that they didn't approach it with violence. Because you see, in my life, all I'd known is everything is solved through violence. So if you skip class, you're beaten up. If you fail, you're beaten up. So at least I skipped the failing part of being beaten up. But you have to skip class. Like you'd skip class in Olympic. And the next day when you went to school, you'd be beaten up. I saw, like nowadays, when I look back, I'm like, there was a lot of child abuse. Because you'd see a kid who skipped class and the next day they come to school and they're really beaten up. I remember one story that stuck with me at Olympic Estate there was this girl called Patricia. Never forgotten her. And she was so thin. And she had sickle cell anemia. And I remember there's a day she missed class and she didn't have your sleep.
There's a 6 sheet.
Yes, and the teacher slapped her. And the teacher slapped her. So remember there's this once where we go to class and she's not there. It's like she passed away. Understand? It's one of those where you're like, these stupid teachers. Like, so when people hear me, like sometimes I'm like, Ikonene, and I really talk like I'm hard on teachers. It's because I remember that you are a teacher. You couldn't see how thin she was. You understand?
Exactly. There's a case the other day around 3-4 days ago of 2 girls who missed class because 2 teachers embarrassed them because they didn't have panties on. And the kids couldn't go to school. And I could see the comment section and the guys are like, ni panty too. Do you think maybe at times our teachers also came from a place of trauma? I don't know. Maybe they didn't know better. I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't know better. And even till today, a lot of parents don't know better. I always look at it this way. When you're slapping this, let's say a 3-year-old, do you know this kid has just come into this world? They have no idea where they are. You understand? Like this, that's why they're touching everything. And I remember an American explaining that, saying that these kids are experimenting. Because you see, that's how humans were able to evolve and become what we became. It's through experimenting. You touch this, you understand, fire is bad. Original humans never used to cook. They used to just eat raw meat. Then by accident, someone discovers fire and they're using fire for heat. If you've ever heard the story of how cooking started.
Yes.
So people are using fire for heat while eating their raw meat. Then by accident, nyama ikaanguka kwa moto. And this person is hungry. They're like, I have to eat this thing. So at some point, they go and remove the nyama and they bite that part. They're like, this is soft and it tastes nice. Let me put it back in the fire. And that's how we discovered how to cook. So you understand, like kids in the first world are raised with make mistakes, learn from your mistakes. Kids in the third world is since a kid is like maybe 1 year old, it's just acha, wacha, toka hapo. And then we grow up as this very fragile, timid human beings. I think there's one example I've never forgotten. It was Caroline Mtoko. Mtoko was giving examples of how when kids from private schools visit Kiss FM and kids from public school visit, she was like, kids from private schools always ask questions. Like, hey, what's up with this? What does this do? And when kids from public school go, because remember, these kids have been beaten into submission. They've been told from day one, don't ask questions if you don't need to ask. Shut up.
It's command and take.
What? So when they go there, they're like, if I ask a question, I'm going to piss off my teacher, and then my teacher will want to beat me after this. So they never ask questions. And that happened with us, like that level of teachers who are super harsh and they were always beating up people and they were always what? So you'd pass exams, but you don't pass exams because you pass because you're cramming. You're now trying to please the teacher and make sure that the teacher is not angry. And I feel like it's a very sad way to approach education, because education needs to be fun. You know, it needs to, like, knowledge needs to be this thing that you embrace and you can ask questions and you can be like, what? I don't understand this. Sisi, like, when you're a kid, how many kids were able to raise their hands and say, I don't understand?
No, it was hard. It was hard.
Yeah, because you'll be smacked. So just keep quiet and yeah.
So now you are done with high school, and then of course you join UN and the whole this new discovered passion for
Music.
hip hop.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think in my memory, I'm seeing you, I'm seeing Akina Abbas,
Yeah.
I'm seeing Kantai, I'm seeing Akina Nazizi now starting to come in through Akina Kalama Shaka.
Yes.
Was it an easy genre to sell at that time? Because we are transitioning from Akina Benga, Akina Poxy Pressure.
No. It was not, because Kenyan music is always very interesting. Because I always look at it, like if you go back to the 80s, late 80s, there's a lot of funk. Apart from funk, reggae starts creeping up. Then early 90s, because of Jeff Mwangemi, there's now reggae. And reggae is also this underground music. So you had the Holimbaos and the Brilliance. We as kids would hear about. Then now in mid-90s, Matatu start playing hip-hop. Because I don't know why they preferred playing hip-hop to reggae. So this is now the point where now you see like Kalamashaka spring up now, and they are these guys who are rapping in Swahili, and we're there like, why are these people doing this American culture in Swahili? And now by the time Sisi Tunakam, it's early 2000s, where now hip hop has started to be accepted, but still not fully accepted. So I'd say Genge and Kapuka were the ones that made people now embrace hip-hop in Kenya. And people ended up loving it. But yes, it was this, I always joke that in the late 90s, listening to hip-hop was like being gay. You're in the closet. You not tell people like, most kids are hip-hop.
But I thought that was the gangster. Like, I mean...
No. It's because everyone was listening to reggae. So if you listen to hip-hop, people would look at you, check you, Babi, ufalant like Babi. So it's something that you'd hide till... You just there with your friends, unasikizaga hii kitu, but you never tell anyone that you listen to it. But then now in the early 2000s, I'd say also a lot of stuff happened. You had Danolo on Metro FM. You had Eve D'Souza, Capital, like in Amodhoni Buika. So now local rap started coming up. So by the time someone like me is getting into the game, like in 2003, we had those Capital rap battles. Apart from Capital rap battles, we also had Benson and Hedges rap battles. You know Benson and Hedges, the cigarette?
Yes,
there was a rap battles at Kengeles. So that's what now we are known for. So we do that, rap battles, then we do freestyles. Then I remember like there's this one freestyle that happened at, it was an event. It was called Kenya Night. Kenya Night used to happen. I think, which is it K1 or K2? The one on Baricho Road. Which one is that?
That used to be
K2.
That used to be K2 because K1 is down on Jiji.
Yes.
That used to be K2.
Yes, so K2. So there used to be this Kenya Night, and it was hosted by Nakageni. So
how many years are these back? I mean, for the sake of Gen Z's, who think Minor is for the other day?
This is 2004. This guy has been there. He was still doing. I think by that time, battle lakini alikuwa Kiss. Hakuwa Classic. Hiyo time alikuwa Kiss. He was not on Classic. I don't even think Classic had started. So there's this Kenya Night. So that Kenya Night, I always say it's a very interesting day, because without that specific night, I don't think I'd be seated here, because I'd not be doing a podcast. It's one of those very interesting stories. So I'm in campus and I get this call from Buddha Blaze. You know Buddha Blaze?
Yes.
And Buddha Blaze is like, there's this Kenya Night happening and I've told them about you, and you do this to freestyles, just show up and see what's up. So I show up and then I go on stage. We used to do that thing where they give you something and you rap about. So they give you keys and you're like, oh, they give you glasses and you're like, oh. So the crowd is going wild because this has never happened. And I remember when I left the stage, I met Chris Kirubi, never forgotten that. And Chris was like, you like what you're doing. Give me his card. He can call me. Of course, he's not going to pick up. And then one of the guys that I met
He did that.
day,
He did that to me as well.
one of the guys I met that day was Fred Afune. You know Fred Afune, the one for Royal
Yes,
Media?
the head of radio Royal Media.
So he gave me his card and then took my number. He was like, let me get your number because we're starting this channel called YFM. And would you be interested in working on radio? I was like, yes. So he took my number. I think this is like maybe Feb 2024. I hear nothing from him. Because he took my number. Like
Feb 204.
Yes, 2024. 204.
204, yeah.
Takes my number, says nothing. No, like he does not give me his number. So I go and I even forget about it. Then when I finished campus, so on 04, I'm leaving campus and I get this call. Krung, krung, krung. And I'm like, hello. Then I hear, this is Julian. I work for Royal Media and we are starting a new station. And I was told that you'd be interested. So are you still interested? I was like, hell yeah. And that's how I ended up on YFM.
Wow. So I remember that time Pierre McKenna. YFM is what is now Hot 96, guys.
Yeah.
So Pierre McKenna there.
Yeah, she used to read the news. She was not.
Pierre McKenna was reading the news.
Yes, she was reading the news. Who else? The Nonini was also there. There was a girl called Damari Sirongo. There's another girl called Kerry who ended up working at Capital. Lawi Chico.
Lawi Chico, yes, he was now doing a sports, super sport.
Yes, there was a duo called DNK. We were a lot of people.
How different was YFM at that time compared to there was KBC, KBC English service at that time.
Yeah.
And had Metro started at that time as well?
Yes, Metro started.
How different was YFM at that time?
It was different because, this is the first station that was using Sheng. But I think now the reason why FM never worked out in quotes was the fact that they wanted to get all the youth, why? For youth. So all the youth have both Barbies and ghetto people. So you had people like me who would use Sheng, and then you had like the girl I was talking about called like Kerry. She was, I think they used to live in Loresho. There's another girl who was called Didi. Didi was from like
even
Karen.
The name is FDD. I mean, you never find somebody from slums and it was Didi.
Yeah, so Didi was from Karen. Used to, I think, alikuwa drop you up on a Budaki akikuja show na Benz. You understand? So you had those very Barbie shows and very ghetto shows. And the way Kenya is such a classist country,
in fact,
you have to choose, like, what's my audience? Because Capital already had the Barbies. So it means that all these Barbie shows were, in quotes, a waste of time to a certain level. So I think that's the reason why it never worked out. But if it had come with the same, like, let's just go for Eastlands, it would have worked out and and that's the reason why Ghetto was able to make it.
I was actually coming there.
Yeah.
So how did you leave? So after how long? What is the stretch at YFM?
2004 to 2006. So 2006, around June, we start hearing that there's going to be retrenchments. And I had like one of the most popular shows on YFM. It was called The Joint because it used to play like hardcore hip-hop. I think even what's his name? Calligraph shouted that show out on his song. He has a song called Cali Chronicles from his previous album. He talked about that show. So that show was popular. So I remember even when people were being retrenched, I was like, nah, there's no way I'm going to lose my job. Hey, damn. Jimmy Gatu came in and there's this time I just finished my show and I'm told like, you need to go and see Jimmy. And I go and Jimmy gives me the letter and like, we don't need your services anymore. So I'm like, damn, my life was really crashed because, I'd left home with a job. I go back without a job. And so this happens in July. Then I'm like...
How did you take it, first of all? I mean...
No, it was painful. I won't lie to you.
Did you hate the report or the person gave you the report?
I hated...
How did you feel the person gave you the report?
I think I hated more... the person that I really hated at that point was Fred Afune because I felt betrayed. I was like, for this... I was the one who had the best show here. How do you end up firing me? You see? Plus, like everyone knew, this was the show that everyone knew. Like if you go to a lot of people and ask them about YFM, they'll talk about The Joint before they talk about... The Joint is most popular. Yes, before they talk about anything. So that happened, but it was a blessing in disguise because this happens in July. Then in like September, there's this girl who was called Angel Wainaina. She used to work on Cobra Squad.
Yes.
She calls me and tells me there's a new station starting up called Ghetto Radio And I've told these guys that you would be a great part of the team. So I just go and I meet these Dutch guys and we just talk about radio. They ask me, why do I think YFM never worked out? I tell them why it never worked out, blah, blah, blah. And they just ended up liking me. So I was just supposed to be a presenter. They were like, no, you sound more like someone who should be in a managerial position.
Nice.
And that's how I ended up now at Ghetto Radio. So this is 2007. So in 2007, around September, I was taken to Netherlands to visit now the main station that, because you see, Ghetto Radio was being funded by taxpayers from Holland. So the main station, like the KBC of Holland, owned another station called Fanex, which so Fanex was...
I've seen the brand Fanex.
Yes, because it's like it is the X generation, eh?
Yes.
Yes, So went to Fanex, and Fanex had like, one of the things I've never forgotten, it had like the most beautiful station. Like this station was made of glass. And then on this other side is, you can see people in their yachts. So imagine akuja inatandika ile glass like this. You're like, damn, this is such a beautiful. And it's in Rotterdam. I don't know if you've been to Netherlands or...
No, I've just passed by.
Yeah, you need to, next time, ingia ndani. Amsterdam is really beautiful, but now Rotterdam is taken as the headquarters of architecture. So the buildings are crazy. They're so beautiful.
I've only just used it a couple of times as a connecting.
Yeah. So up Rotterdam was taught how to do radio, how to do whatever, how to use the software we are going to use. Then came back. So this is 2007. Around February 2008, Ghetto Radio starts.
Oh.
And
So what is the title that you start with at Ghetto Radio?
A programs manager. So the programs manager. I always tell people that Sabina Chege was supposed to be the Nene manager. She was supposed to be the director. So they met her, but she was still at KBC. I think Shoro FM. And these vernacular stations, these presenters know that this can be a launching pad for politics. That's why she never left, but she was supposed to join. So that time, I ended up now being the director stroke
programs manager at the same
manager.
time.
Yes. So I was that for, I'd say, for maybe 2 years. Yes. So it was just me and some guy called Martin Brower. Yeah.
So were you actually there? So allow me to ask, were you actually there when now Akina Bonoko and Akina...
No, Akina Bonoko came after me. I was there. Who was there? Mbusi, Lion, of course, Rapture. There's a guy called Robo, very interesting guy, still there.
So where did you get Mbusi?
Mbusi came from, we were trying to do the morning show. We were trying to spice it up with traffic stories. So there's a day that Nani had gone on the street, Robo had gone on the streets, and he recorded this guy pretending to be a cop. And it was super funny. And that was Mbusi. So that's how Mbusi ended up coming to Ghetto Radio, now to read traffic. And but now he could not get along with the girl who was doing the show. Like two presenters who can't see eye to eye. So there's this ones where he made a joke that was super dirty, remember? And this girl just lost it. I don't know if he remembers. So he was talking about how traffic, what had happened. And these girls are just bending over. You can't do what? It was a sexual joke, and this girl just lost it. So when she lost it, that's how now I had to separate them and be like, you can't do this show. And that time he was very unpolished. He was not the guy that people see right now. So yes, so Mbusi was there. But Akina Bonoko came after me. Bonoko, I think, I hear a lot of people, Stikatis, those ones came after me.
Akina Lion.
Lion was there. So Lion is Afune's brother,
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, they look alike. I
have not, but I don't think I've met Lion face to face. I only hear of him.
But enda wangal chukwe tu picture.
Afune Lion, okay.
Yes. So Lion is even called a Nufa. Like if you ever see him walking with a Nufa, you'll see him turn. Because that's what we used to call him at Ghetto.
At that time.
Before he started being called, he gave himself the name Lion.
Interesting.
Because a lot of people gave themselves these names when they were at Ghetto. Because even who else? Mbusi was not called Mbusi when he joined Ghetto. He was Inspector Ngombe. And the name Mbusi came from what's his name? Kafu. You know Kafu?
King Kafu.
Yes, King Kafu. So King Kafu used to use the name Mbusi kumaanisha fala. wacha umbusi, wacha umbusi. So I think in the process, Nani ended up taking it and he ran with it and he turned it into what he turned it into. And you can you have to just like respect that, you know.
True that. So how does Majimaji come into ghetto?
So Majimaji was very interesting. There's Majimaji and then there's another lady. So this is what happened. In 2007, when we were practicing, we didn't have, the equipment had not reached from Netherlands. So people had to practice how to be presenters. So we used to go to Majimaji's studio Upper View Park Towers. So I'd take the people there and then when I train, then tunachotea Majimaji. So during that time, akajuana na that Martin Brower guy. So that time ndio akajuana. And then there was another lady also. She's called Maria Mbeneka. So she's one of the board members. But how did she end up being a board member? Around the same time, because remember, when I came from YFM, I'd learned this media game. So one of the things that I did is I also met some white guy from the US. It was called Rand. And he was looking for ideas of shows to do. So I pitched an idea to him. And the show was called Skika. This was before Skika ya Safaricom. So ilikuwa ni S' then Kika. So he ended up pitching this show to Channel O. Alafu season 1 tukafanya pamoja. But season 2 now Ghetto Radio had started. So I could not show up every day. So he's like, because you can't show up every day, we need you out. So we are going to give you like 100,000 shillings, you go. I was like, hell no. So I decided to sue him. So when I sued, I met, remember Didi, the girl I was talking about?
Yes.
Didi had told me that she has a cousin who is a lawyer. So that's how I met this lady called Maria. So Maria ends up being my lawyer and she's able to make those people pay me. So we settled. Hiyo ndio pesa nilitumia kununua my first car.
How much did you settle?
I ended up getting, was it like 800,000 shillings? This is Zuko 2007.
Which is a whole good money at that time.
Yeah, 9. So nikapata nayo gari yangu. So during it time, so now at some point, the Netherlands people are like, Ghetto Radio needs a board. Sindio? They need a board on ground. And kwa board, they need an artist and they need a lawyer. And they need what? So who did I propose as the artist? Majimaji. Who did I propose as the lawyer?
Maria.
Maria. Eventually, of course, it's business. So I can say they betrayed me. But on the other side, remember my lessons at 30. On the other side, they did what they were going to do. It's a survival game. So, but the only sometimes the only thing I'm not happy with is when they call themselves founders. I'm like, no, you're not a founder. You can't found something you found.
Literally, yeah.
Yes. But apart from
so
that,
you founded Ghetto Radio.
You can say I founded it. No.
Well, you overseeing the setup.
Yes, the setup. The
structuring.
Yes, the structure, the sheng, the what. Ilikuwa mimi. Did they take the sheng to another level? Yes. Because with me, the news used to be serious. With them, now the news became pure sheng. So there was that. But yes, so that's how.
So do you and Majimaji and Maria, do you guys see eye to eye?
No. I think at some point, you see now, when I left Ghetto Radio, it was not a good, sikutoka vizuri. And it's one of those things I always talk about. Remember when you talked about regrets? I always have the regret of, I always tell people, never leave the house in the morning without a plan to quit, then come back in the evening when you've quit your job. So this is what happened. Like, I think I'd gone to Scanad. So we had gone to pitch something at Scanad. And then what happened? At that point, my relationship with the white guy, Martin Brower, had started breaking.
There was scuffle.
Kulikuwa na scuffle. We used to have a lot of arguments. And when I came back, I think he told Majimaji to do something. And I was just pissed. Like, now this is bullshit. You are undermining my authority. So I quit. That's how I quit. Remember, I didn't leave the morning planning to quit. I didn't even
You're going for a pitch to come back to the office?
Yes. Even when I went to Scanad, which was in the afternoon, I had not planned to quit. So I ended up quitting at around 5 p.m. And so that's what happened. So with that, of course, I'd look at Majimaji. I'm like, I'm the one who made you come to Ghetto Radio. I'd look at Maria. I'm the one who made you come to, and I'd look at them as enemies. While they were not enemies, they saw an opportunity and they grabbed it.
And they grabbed it.
Yes. So in hindsight, when I look at that, I'm like, yeah, I was a child, so I don't have any problem with them. Why? Because I enjoy podcasting, and to me, it's a better job. It's more
Than
fun.
anything else.
It's radio is dying. Like radio has, like if you look at the first world, radio is dying. Like podcaster, like right now, first world, you'll have radio plus podcast. It's not just radio peke yake, because that's how you make radio survive. So sina shida. I'm actually
You're at peace.
yeah, but there was that. If we met, will there be a certain level of tension? Yes, there's always going to be, because I've called out, especially when I saw, I think it's Maria, when I saw, she said she's a founder. Like, this is bullshit. Don't say that. Don't rewrite history. You are not there. Those first days when we were building this thing from scratch, you are not there. You came in, somehow the white guy was kicked out. I don't know how. But it's, when I had that, I celebrated. Because this
Such a saddest move.
yeah, because this someone I treated as like a brother. Najua, like this was someone where we used to have all these conversations about Ghetto Radio and turning it into a reality. And for him to have, I felt, turned against me and become. And become this. So somehow they were able to kick him out. And I always tell people that I had a chance to kick him out. So you see that thing when you talk about lessons at 30, one of the things I'd say is we live in such a capitalistic society that you have to ask yourself, can I live with this decision? And this is a decision, money. And if I have this chance to make a lot of money, can I take it? So this is what happened. When Ghetto Radio was being registered, the Ghetto Radio Foundation, yes? No, Ghetto Radio Limited, not Foundation. I'm the one who was given the papers to fill in. Remember, these guys are in Holland.
Detail by detail.
Yes.
You're the go-to-go person on ground.
They trusted me so much, I could have filled in anything. Na nipeleke kwa registrar. Ningejueka even as the owner na nipeleke registrar.
Mimi mtadu.
Angejua. Because remember, as long as the money inaenda kwa account yao, angejua. Till ile time wamenifire, niko like, but I own this. Let's go to court. Before we prove you're a Dutch guy fighting a Kenyan, it's going to be tricky. So I think this is what happened. So me, of course, I was good. So Ghetto Radio Limited, I made sure wameweka hivi, wakaweka hivi, and I left it that way. But remember, when I left, now there's a lawyer, and the lawyer saw that level. I think maybe on that level of trust, and they were able to somehow be able to kick the white guy out. Because the last thing I had is the white guy had been kicked out. Alienda huko Netherlands, struggled with drug addiction. I was there celebrating in Nairobi. I was like, fuck, okay, Paul, you don't cuss in your... Yeah, so that's what happened to the guy. So baadaye, excuse me, he's trying to start a podcast studio huko Netherlands. And it's sad, but it also showed me the price of betrayal. Sometimes you betray people who actually believe in you. So we used to clash with him, but I believed in him and I treated him like a brother. So when he was kicked out, I was somehow happy. I think I'm still happy 15 years later. Yeah. But Kiloneza Sema, like, if you have a chance, always know that the people you're working with don't always have your best interests at heart. And everyone is using everyone. So if you get a chance to position yourself in a place where you can't be kicked out, position yourself. Never be too trustworthy. I was too trustworthy. Otherwise, if I was shiesty hivi, ningekuwa I'd be an owner wa Ghetto Radio size. Because even at least kwa zile documents ningeandika I own 30%. I could have filled in anything.
So either way, there's no way they would have kicked you out.
Yes. Sasa now I'm an owner. Sasa tuende kotini, tupigane. Before you prove when you Dutch, first of all, unawaka Kenya aje without
permit. Ulifikaje hapa?
Yeah, ungecheki. Like I would have won that easily. Like ingebidi wa settle na mimi waniambie tuwe kaaga tu home. Kila mwezi tunakuletea this amount of money. But I was a good person. But now, eventually when somehow that white guy was kicked out, I was like, damn, I had this same chance, but I didn't use it.
This is it for you.
That's the price of loyalty.
Do you listen to Get Radio even now?
I don't.
Is it a station you tune into?
I don't listen to radio
at all.
That's the funny thing. Like, cause nikiwa kwa gari, if I'm not listening to my own music, like my own music, like playlist nimetengeneza, I have headphones on. Like it's one of those things. And if you're honest, you'll say, if you've worked on radio, you rarely listen to
I'm
radio.
on radio, and I can tell you, I would only listen once in a while because I also want to monitor what
other people are doing.
not even other people, my colleagues.
Okay.
So I listen probably to my show in Makideo in the morning, which is rarely because I'm asleep at that time, because remember my show is in the evening.
Yes.
So I really have to rest up. But truth be told, between you and I, then this might come a little bit egoistic, but I'm a point whereby I know who I am and I know what I bring on the table, and I can confidently say that. I don't think we have content anymore on radio that will probably trigger me to listen to. And I'm a firm believer that maybe my show is the most unique show right now because I talk to men. That is called Chamber. Because I fight for men and I talk about men's issues. And I'm very keen on making the world understand who the man is as a father, as a son, as a brother, and as a husband.
Yes.
And I love my show because I'm the one doing it inside. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure if I wasn't on Radio 47.
Yeah, you see. So even with me, it's that, like, I'll enter and I'll enter maybe a cab and I'll hear someone listening to Get to Radio and I'll just listen to it and go.
How does it make you feel?
To sit, nowadays I feel nothing because I love podcasting. But I won't lie to you. Before the podcast, I used to feel a certain way. I used to, like, every time I'd be there, I'd be like, damn, I started this and I should be there. I'd have those. But now after getting into the podcasting world where I can talk about anything, you see, with radio, there was limited
code of ethics and what, like, I could not, but on a podcast, I can even talk about companies. I can be like, according to me, I feel this is wrong. Like Majuzi, when Mulamwa was talking about losing his SIM card, yes.
I could talk about that because I'm on a podcast. I'm not, like, I don't have to please the advertisers because you see, the advertisers are dealing with Google. They're not dealing with me. So mi nitakuwa hapo nikicriticize alafu ad yako inacheza after hapo. So that's what I prefer about podcasting. I can talk about anything. I can tell you my darkest thoughts. I can tell you my, my fears, my what. And so I prefer podcasting too.
As we almost wrap up, and still in the spirit of Mwafreeka being owning up to his opinions. I have marriage Bamba Mafala.
That was Rono.
That was Rono.
That I think one of the things that happens with the microphone nowadays is everyone.
No, you're not about to do this. No.
Everyone can give their opinion, and I think everyone else who's out there is open to handle it the way they want to handle it. At some point, I never believed in marriage, so I understand her talking about marriage that way. Then I ended up being married, and I feel like I was lucky because my marriage has no drama.
We don't even know you're married.
Yes, that's
what I'm telling you. Silent and well.
Yeah. Alafu yango inaga drama. Like sometimes I look at, kuna time ulizaga wife, because we've been married for now 11 years.
11?
Sometimes I look at her and I'm like, is there another side I'm supposed to see? Because people out there ni kupigana na mabibi, watu wana argue, watu wana mimi kwangu yangu inakuwa
and follow.
Yeah. So I think one of the reasons why mine has worked is the secrecy. The more you keep it between you two people, so when you fight, no one knows that you fought. You see? So I think that helps to keep it, and then there are no unrealistic standards and expectations. So to me, marriage to me has been a blessing. But kuna watu inakuwaga ni maufala, because unapataga people who get married for social media. So you start with debt. First of all, umehaya magari ya mwezi afford. Because I've never understood the kitu ati to get married, we have to use a Range Rover, a limousine. Why? If you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
No, panda punda.
Yeah, panda punda.
Yeah. Panda punda.
Yeah, like just need it. So, I understand when she says that, I understand. Because also, I think for women, there are also women who believe that all men cheat. So, a woman will be like, if all men cheat, why am I getting into this thing just for heartbreaks and what and what? So, I understand side ya Rono, lakini pia kitu kingine siwezi taka pia ni Rono pia put her opinion as the one all and all and yes.
The alpha and omega of the opinions.
Yes. So yes, marriage kwake inaweza kuwa ni ufala. But to me it's been a blessing. Like I got this person who's always in my corner. Ukionaga any poster ya iko nini, just know it's my wife who's made it. Because she's also a graphic designer.
Ooh, big up mama, big up mama, big up man.
So me on my side, I was lucky. I was able to get this person where we have fights, but the fights are so little. Like we've been together for how many years? 10 years. And I think kila mwaka tunakuwaga na hiyo kaka half time ka lazima tukosane at least for some time. Siku mbili si kukosana ya kuseparate, but ile kukosana like tunajamiana ile but then it ends up, it never gets disrespectful and never gets what. So for me, it's been a blessing. Just have a person in your corner and know that this person will always look out for you. So
Ganji imekuwa ni issue.
Because I think another thing is tulianza si wote kawa wili tuna struggle. Then figured it out. Yeah, kapata job, mi nikapata like a hustle, something to do, and we just picked it up pamoja. So we've always had that.
Build pamoja.
Yeah, tumebuild pamoja.
Twins in progress.
Yeah. So kwangu haikuwa nini. So I understand. But another thing about us is haikuwa ile, like by the time we tuna Mariana, we knew each other. Like unajua, like we just known each other for like a year, but I knew her.
So you got married after a year?
Yes. Unajua kuna mtu mza Mariana na mjuani. So you have this stranger in the house, they don't know your bullshit. So my wife knew this, he does that, I don't like this, I don't like that about him. But then you accept each other's nonsense. So you don't come with this perfect thing like, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. I always say like the biggest test in our marriage was when our kid was born. Because I sleep like a dead person. Mimi mtu nasikiaga watu wananiambia like, unajua kulikuwa na mtu alikuwa anapiga nduru, sikusikia. So now I'd go to sleep, the baby is crying, me God, naamka asubuhi wife amefura. But we survived that. So after we survived that, it's been in it. So I understand Rono. Na pia I understand the people who were telling her, no, don't do that. But I think the people who are more angry at her were the people in unhappy marriages. Because if you're in an unhappy marriage and then someone says Nufala,
then you're like, wow.
We hate the truth, so you're going to be
Ufala actually.
Yeah, but for me Miss Jali, like useme ni Ufala, like I'm happy with where I am. And yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't see time going up. That has been, of course, Lessons at 30, of course, with our guest lecturer, Mwafreeka himself. And of course, he is the host of one of the top biggest podcasts, of course, in East Africa right now, ladies and gentlemen, Ikonini. And I'm looking forward the day when Lessons at 30 will be playing around that league, and we're coming there. But
already playing around that league. You know, the name of Ofweneke is big, man. So you just start a podcast today, and yeah. But yeah, great job. And it's good that you're sharing this story so that people can see the journey. Because I think another thing that people don't realize, it's a journey. You know, people will see Dr. Ofweneke today and they don't know that it was a journey of very small steps. And these small steps eventually lead into who you are today. So also thank you for being part of my journey.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, we had that conversation about crying, and then I'm like, the next minute I'm like, this guy stopped crying. What happened?
Hey, Mazeni Leon, after I nearly trend, and I was like, And I think the reason why maybe you and I, as much as we really don't talk every single day, but we've had that mutual friendship and brotherhood, is because I think you and I almost share the same kind of personality that, hey, this is what I said. It is what it is.
I'll stick by it.
So if you feel you have a different opinion, then this is my page, by the way. So where unaweza enda kwa next? I tell guys, I appreciate what my brother Bina is doing. I appreciate what other kina Mike Check are doing. If you feel Ofweneke, this show is not good enough for you, please just click next door.
Yes.
Go Bina show iko hapo. Hey, ingia uona kina presenter Kai. Hey, ukifeel tu nini ingia next kule.
Yes. I think because people don't realize that if we all did our things the same way, then you'd not watch us. Because if, like, you remember when I was talking about your intro, like the way you talk about you do your intro is very different from mine.
True.
And that's the reason why we are different. If we all do the same thing, because people want you to all do the same thing, then if you do all do the same thing, they'll be like, mbona mnakopiana? So people can never be happy.
Diversity.
So, yes, I think it's called audience capture, where you do things because the audience wants you to do. So I always say I'll never be a victim of audience capture. So if you don't like it, nakwambiaga, enda, kuna hii. It's not the only channel, but there are so many channels. Ingia next. Alafu hii si frequency ya CAK, atita kubembeleza. Hii kwenda huku. Kwenda.
Big bro, thank you so much, Manzi, for coming through.
And thank you for the invite.
I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Shit. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. I mean, after this one, you should have clicked the subscription button by now on the notification button, so that when more other guest lecturers are coming in, I mean, you're going to be ready for this. So you cannot wait to see who I'll be hosting next on the show on the next lesson, the 30. But a big appreciation, of course. Remember, after all said and done, man, please make sure investment na ujirudishia asante manze. Yali win lawsuit ya 800,000 akajirudishia asante manze akabaendai. Wewe unaweza buy shamba na username. Tuko na all options. Tuko na mashamba Nakuru, tuko na shamba Nairobi, tuko na shamba Juja wapi Nakuru, and especially the one in Kikuyu, which is 1.25 million. Please make sure you check that shamba out. This is a payment plan, and the title deal comes out on time. Those ones of my diaspora subscribers who are watching from all over the world, remember, I know you guys are almost coming back home as summer bunnies. Unataka kutuma do before kwanza kuprepare, sijui ng'ombe ianze kukula mapema ya kuchinjwa, sijui mbuzi nini shamba, sijui ni wapi mtafanya family reunion. Anza kutuma do mapema, and the only safest way is sending us through Lemfi. Na wale sema nafanya harusi, end of year parties, birthdays, weddings, clubs and everything, and you want mascots to appear at your event. Well, that is the number to call on the screen. Happy Fit KE will be waiting to serve you, and of course, we'll be providing any kind of a caricature, of course, of a mascot. My name is the one and only, the Eagle himself, the Duke of Kakamega. Dr. Ofweneke is my name. It's always a beautiful time, and I speak blessings upon your life. May God come through for you, and may the same favor and grace that I've experienced, I also send it to you in Jesus' name. Please have a good time. God bless you. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share the link. Bye-bye.